bit.
My real estate team member
There is an amazing, I don't know if you ladies are birthday cake type fans, but Hornstra has one right now called Happy Birthday America. It is literally the perfect blend of cake and ice cream.
We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the extra.
Yeah, it's a vanilla ice cream base with bits of yellow and chocolate cake, and there's red and blue jimmies in it.
Roundtable. If you have any questions during the show,
it's unreal. I'll have to get you a carton. I'm going to go there soon.
4900.
Yeah, when are you going to visit us
real estate?
Seriously, I gotta come visit. Now that COVID's done, I had my first 3 live shows on a Thursday last week, for God's sake.
Like a one-on-one
Truly the beginning of the end and the beginning of the new.
Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs. You can
sound good
at bostonconnect.com.
10 seconds. Here we go.
826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara, and you are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here live at our studio in our office here at Boston Connect Real Estate. Of course, that is the sponsor for our show, Boston Connect Real Estate. We're serving everybody on the South Shore here. And
we're a full service industry.
Yes, we are. So how was it last week without me around, you guys?
We missed you.
You did?
Yeah, of course we did.
And then I came in, when on vacation.
You were on the boat.
But I meant physically.
Physically,
I was not here. Yeah. So I'm so glad. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm so glad. I just want to tell all of our listeners a little secret. Today's just been one of those days. I don't know about any of you, but if you want to call in and let us know how you're feeling, 781-837-4900. Our topic tonight has nothing to do with this, but we're feeling a little ho-hum, like this weather.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to go on vacation and you're so excited about it for a year because you do it every year. You take 10 days and you're, excited to be on the boat and going to Chappie Beach and being with the dogs, going paddle boarding. And then it rains. And then this chick named Elsa comes up the coast.
She wanted to build a snowman
and she ruined it all. And we had, honestly, Tuesday night when we did the show, it was clearing up and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. It's clearing up. We woke up Wednesday. I was like, oh, it's going to be a nice day. And then we're talking to somebody, he does, the pump out over at the Edgartown Harbor. And he's like, have you been watching the weather? And Mark's like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty bad. He's like, yeah, it's going to be blowing like 50 to 65 mile an hour winds.
That's scary.
And these mooring balls are rated for 35 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to end up on Chappie. You know what I mean? Unless I'm sitting in a beach chair. So we ended up leaving Wednesday. We went to the beach in the morning with the dogs. We sat there until about 12 and then we had to head home. The only beautiful day. And
it's such a bummer.
Yeah, I know. First,
talked to a couple of our clients too, who had also taken vacations last week. And they said everybody had the same story. They were like, we had to cut our vacation short.
Yeah.
And, it's just the weather really wasn't cooperating with anybody last week.
Yeah, it was sort of a bummer. So if you're feeling ho-hum about that, just like I said, give us a call. But if you want to talk to us about real estate, we'd love to talk real estate. 781-837-4900. So what I thought I would do to try to cheer us up today, I said, I think we should go out for ice cream. So sorry, Ben, we did not bring you ice cream because you're not here. So
it's okay. I'm here in spirit and I'm enjoying from afar.
Okay. Well, if we get ice cream next week, we'll make sure that every time we take a bite, we'll say, all right, this one's for Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So Melissa has just joined us and I think you got us all live.
Yeah, we are live on Facebook. And if you're friends with Sharon Costa McNamara, you can see us or you can go to Pembroke Connect. All the Connect pages were there.
Yeah. Is it on our page too for our team?
Yes, but it doesn't. I'll talk to you about it afterwards, but for some reason it doesn't translate very well. So,
all right. Perfect. Well, you can find us. If you want to send us a text during the show, if you have any questions, feel free to text me. I'll make sure that I have my phone up and ready for you. 781-294-4848. That is my cell phone number, 781-294-4848. So feel free to do that. And who wants to tell our listeners what our show is all about?
All right. Well, I will. So tonight, Sharon sort of coined the whole, I got a guy saying.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about some referrals that we give our clients, whether they're preparing their home to sell, they are in the process of selling, or even our buyer clients need referrals once they are living in the space and they realize, oh, okay, you know, I used the floors as an example earlier, which we'll get into, but you realize that you want to do something different with the floors, or you want to paint the house and all that stuff. So I actually wish Michelle Fay had called in or had reached out about, because her clients just purchased a home here in Pembroke, and they did a lot of renovations in the
Very
first
quickly.
week that they had their house. So they're finally moving into it.
Yep.
But
And I think that that's one of the important things to do. I was actually talking to a guy today who I had looking at the porch here at the office, because that's one of the only things we haven't renovated yet, that and a bathroom upstairs. And I just want to have it like, you know, sanded and, you know, it's fir wood, I guess. And then I had him come to my house because my house was built in 92. So it's the original floors. And then they did like a oil based primer, whatever finish on it. So it like, now it looks orange because it's red oak. So it looks orangey. And now that I just did my whole house over, I want those to be freshened up as well. So I brought him to my house too. And we were talking, I met him we were the listing agents on a property in town, and you know, trying to line everybody up when you're buying a house is not an easy thing to do.
No, not at
I think
all.
it's really important to let the listing agent know, like, hey, we're just trying to get all these people set up at once so we can get in the door. And usually the seller's agents are very flexible to that. So, but you know, because when you move in, the best time to do it is when there's nothing in the house. So
so the best time to redo the floors or take on any
paint.
like big project would probably be before you moved in, if you had the opportunity to.
well, I just want to make a comment about what you just said with the listing agent being accommodating.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a couple documents need to be signed beforehand in order for somebody, especially if you have waived your home inspection, to have somebody come in and sort of, you know, you want to move some things around. So you have an electrician and someone to, you know, do the floors. If there's a crack in the foundation, you want to do like sort of like that stuff and want to get like, you know, you want to change out windows or whatever it is. Or you want to get estimates on a roof or whatnot. There's definitely some documents that need to be signed beforehand. And then you have reasonable access to the home. You know, of course, within reason, because you don't own it yet, but trying to coordinate all these people on the same day or at the same time would be super beneficial and more appealing to the seller.
Excuse me, but I actually did get, I just went to go on Facebook so I could see if anyone was asking us questions. And somebody did just send me a private message actually earlier this afternoon and said, Sharon, could you do a show on the spiritual relationship between a person and the property, the spiritual state of the neighborhood and the spiritual life of the home? The customer may have to date the house before making a long-term commitment. Add the idea of spending a night or a weekend at the home before making a decision. What a selling idea. This shows care for your client, mind, body, and spirit. Breathe a new life into real estate business. So I would love, you are talking to the right person, Daniel. I would love to do a show on that because I won't get into it, but I do feel houses.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to explore a lot of those little nuances there.
Well, I got a girl for that, by the way, right? We had her on the show, Feng Shui.
When you were saying that, I thought of 4 School Street in my head.
Yeah.
And probably just because you felt sort of like the home come to life, if that makes sense to anybody. But I mean, I feel like that would have been a good place to sort of like have an overnight. I don't know, in this market, an overnight would be like a thing right now. But you know, who knows? The tides are turning. So maybe we'll go back to.
We might see it in a contract soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know, but my watch is telling me I'm having a panic attack. So
it's all the caffeine from your ice cream.
It's all the caffeine.
No, maybe it's the conversation about
maybe
thinking about living in that house.
I guess maybe I'm just thinking of it as like I'm a seller and I'm like, I don't know if I want anybody to stay at my house overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it was like an Airbnb or something.
Yes. And I can see our good friend Ken McCormick is watching, and he said, welcome back. And Ken, I was always here in spirit, but I saw him drive by today. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. Yeah.
What's that song? Beep, beep. toot toot.
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
I know what it is, but I can't think.
I thought
I'm
you were
sure
going
they
to
have that
Missy
song
Elliott
at
song.
WATD for
Yeah,
sure.
maybe. Yeah, that'd be fun to.
Aw, beep beep.
Yes, I think they play that at weddings.
Toot toot.
Yeah, I get it. Kristen and I saw Ken yesterday. There was a car accident outside, so we saw Ken zoom up in his.
Oh.
Nobody
new-
was seriously.
He
injured,
really, we
right?
should really get him, like a superhero outfit.
Like
I
a
think he
cape?
should. Yeah, Superman.
All right, Ken, you know what's coming your way.
And he got a big S across his chest.
Pop. Okay, we have to get back on track.
We're getting
here.
back to I got a guy.
I'm sorry. And
We're-
just so everybody knows, I did spend 12 hours driving on Sunday from Virginia, from home to Virginia. I dropped Mackenzie. Mackenzie was going back to Clemson.
And nobody knew.
Nobody knew. I didn't really even tell anybody. I'd just been in this little fog. But Mackenzie actually volunteered. Again, this conversation, hey, who knows if we'll ever get to the topic. But, it's just interesting where we are. And Mel, we actually talked. I mean, talking about Ken McCormick, and you had reached and you saw Dan Webster, maybe having another show about like
No,
after
I saw
Daniel Webster.
No, I didn't.
Josh Cutler.
Josh Cutler. I saw
Yeah,
Josh Cutler,
Josh Cutler,
over the
yeah.
weekend.
So maybe having like a follow-up show to COVID and all
how
that. So
everything's changing.
yeah, so I'd like to do that because now it's sort of like
We miss them.
I do miss
I
them.
know. Well, when I saw Josh, I was like, we've never met in person, but I've literally interviewed you like 20 times on Zoom.
Yeah.
We're good
So-
old friends.
But what I was starting to say is the consequences of COVID are still real.
Mm.
And Mackenzie, growing up, always went to the YMCA camp, Pleasant Valley, up in Moulton Borough, up in New Hampshire, and they didn't, because of visas, they can't get visas. So they didn't have a lot of like the counselors and the directors and everything else. So they reached out to all the alumni just saying, hey, if anybody can help us out, it would be greatly appreciated because we are having camp this year. So Mackenzie had vacation time. She took 3 weeks of vacation time and she volunteered. And she said that she didn't want to get a paycheck, that she wanted to go back to the camp. Yeah, she wanted to go back to the camp and she wanted to volunteer. She was able to bring Tallulah, her dog. So anyways, long story is I drove 12 hours and I don't do cars well, but I did. And
You sang a lot.
I sang a lot and I did Rapper's Delight, like from start to finish, almost every.
I don't even know if I know what Rapper's Delight
I
is.
thought of Afternoon Delight.
No, Rapper's Delight.
That song.
They're very different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe Ben can find a little bit of it. Hip hop,
Which
hip
one?
it to the hip it,
Oh,
hip hip
yeah,
hop.
yeah.
You don't
Oh.
stop rocking to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to be.
And on
That was very
note-
good. That was very good.
What'd you think, Ben?
On that
I loved it. I thought that was super impressive.
I was expecting you to keep
Thank you.
going.
I know the whole entire song. So, anyways, I'm a little punchy. Then I flew home yesterday.
Oh, well, how your arms feeling?
Yep, and my arms are feeling okay. Of course, the plane got delayed, as it always does anytime I'm leaving down there. And then here's the funny part. I was like, I don't want to bother anyone to come pick me up at the airport. I'm just going to take the bus to Braintree. And then my friend was going to pick me up there. Kim.
Rockland.
Yeah. No, first I was going to go to Braintree. And Kim was going to pick me up. And then lo and behold, I walk outside, there's the bus going to Rockland. And I was like, well, that sounds like a better idea. I've never done that before. So I got on that bus and whacked my head, by the way. And then I texted Mark because you can't use your phones. And I said, hey, do you mind just calling my dad, tell him to pick me up in Rockland? I decided to go to Rockland. I get off in Rockland and I say, where's my dad? So I call him, I go, where are you, Dad? Mark said you were here. And he's like, I'm in Braintree. Where are you? I go, in Rockland. There we go. But how's fate? Everything good
Yeah.
happens to me, right?
Yep.
Talking to Mary on the phone, like, you're not going to believe what happened. I'm in a parking lot all by myself. And I go, oh, there goes my brother-in-law, Mike McLeod. I got a guy. He's an electrician. He went by.
I that's dumb luck because I can't even.
You got to be
I
good to
know
get
that.
lucky.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's my story. I'm sure I bored all of our listeners. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here with Sharon, Mary, and Melissa. We're talking tonight about I got a guy, I got a gal, I got whatever we have. We have it for you, right?
Yes, very much
Referrals.
so.
We have referrals
Whatever
for
you
you.
need, we got.
Well, I
Mhm.
think so. Just to jump into the topic, I think a lot of times in real estate transactions, buyers and even sellers might not realize that there's something for everybody. Like if there's a problem in your house, there's somebody who fixes it, right?
Mhm.
Or there's somebody who takes care of it. And when you're a buyer, especially we see this a lot with home inspections. your famous saying, Sharon, is buyers are looking for what's wrong, not for what's right. So as you're going through and, you know, maybe there's a crack in the foundation or a crack in the wall and, you know, there's some mold in the attic. It's just cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. That's what you're thinking in your head. But in reality, these are very commonly addressed things, commonly seen things, and you wouldn't know unless you're talking to the guy or the gal who takes care of it, right? So it's just important to note that there's, you know, a crack in the foundation doesn't mean your house is falling down, right?
Yeah.
Or mold doesn't mean that you're going to die.
Yeah. And don't freak out about it, because we probably know somebody. Like when I am walking through somebody's house, I am walking through as the eyes of the buyer. And, you know, people are always concerned about me seeing their stuff. Like, honestly, you could have maybe even a dead body sitting on the floor and I'm not going to see it. You know,
we'll pretend we don't see it until we leave. And then we're like,
did you see the dead body? No. But I'm looking for, you know, material things in the home, because I want you to be able to take the time to get those repaired beforehand, similar like the crack in the foundation or little things like that. So that's my story.
Yeah. Well, why don't you talk about the process of going through somebody's house and how, you know, you don't give too much information, but sort of, you know, say, oh, this is something that could possibly be fixed, changed. Don't do anything with this. Like, how do you go about?
That's one of the bigger misconceptions too, is that people feel as if they have to do a lot of things to get their house on the market. This market in particular, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is have a house and it's going to sell no matter what condition it's in. And I just say, we price the house according to the condition that it's in. We recently had the situation that happened and it's like, oh, well, the roof is old. This is happening, blah, blah, blah. And, the furnace is old. Well, you saw that. We priced the house according to that. So no, we're not going to give you money for that, for something we already looked at. But in situations where if I do see, you know, the mold is the big one when I go up into the attics, and I don't want to, that's the other thing too, is when I'm meeting people, I always preface it with that statement of saying, I'm looking for what's wrong, not for what's right, because that's what buyers do. But I want us to be able to address those things before the buyers see them, because mold is a very good example. You know, maybe you have a little section that looks like mold to me. I mean, it has to be tested, but potentially, like I've been doing this 20 years. We know what it looks like. But I don't know the difference between a mold that's going to kill you and a mold that's just there. And then there's like staining on the wood that was there when the house was being built, like wood that, normal. And it was just stained. So, but so many times people think, oh, that's going to be like $10,000 to $15,000 to fix. And it's like, nope, $2,500.
Yeah, maybe
$5,000 for an entire colonial, you know? So, and getting the warranty with it, but you're much better off to get that done beforehand. So I just like to put all that stuff together. A lot of times people want me to go there and give them staging, techniques and a lot of that. And that, to me, that's putting the cart before the horse. And now I sort of stopped doing a lot of that. I'll give them some hints and tips, but when you hire me is when you get the full me.
Yeah.
And I'll do that as we're preparing the house to go on the market.
Yeah. What do you think is the most common thing that sellers sort of repair or replace before putting their house on the market?
I'm going to have to think about that one.
All right.
I got to think about it a little bit.
For me, I think a lot of them are doing, you know, if there's some rotted trim, like around windowsills or things like that, that little, and that's the thing too. Are you doing, I'm going on the market in 2 weeks, or I'm planning on going on the market in the fall or next spring. You know, those, you know, we do have a client that actually I went out to their house last year and they were going to reside the entire house when it was one section. And he thought, well, because it won't match, I think people are going to think that there's a bigger issue. And I can't remember, maybe he was going to just do one whole side of the house. And I was like, well, just replace the part that is damaged. You don't have to replace the entire side. And he's like, well, what if it doesn't match? It doesn't matter. You fixed the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't about a cosmetic thing at that point, you know? And honestly, I drive by the house every day, a couple times, because it's on my street and it's blended in already.
Really? Nobody ever noticed.
No one's ever going to know. So I would say that like the rotted wood is something.
I guess I would say paint. So I would say like especially trim paint. It seems that when you're going through, maybe not painting your entire house, but just giving like the trim, sometimes a fresh coat of paint does a lot if the house is showing some age and wear and tear, just like brightening it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
then when we do that, sometimes I feel like it's a snowball, right?
It is a snowball.
It's always a snowball. When you were saying about the trim, I'm like, all right, well, what if you replace the trim, but the windows are 100 years old?
That's literally in my house right now.
Yeah. I mean, so that at that point, it isn't worth it. Then it's just like, then you're pricing the house according to the condition it's in. Right. So in certain circumstances, I think it does make sense. But you know what, if you're a homeowner, this is basic maintenance. Maybe you're not even thinking about putting your house on the market for 10 years. You know, as you're seeing those little pieces of rot around the windows, it happens. You're in New England, wood rots in weather. So just replace it and put some PVC.
Yeah. Okay. So in another sense, Mary, or both of you actually, as a buyer's agent, what do you think is the most common thing that buyers come back with after home inspection?
It's so for me, it's structure, safety,
hazard,
health. So it's your radon, mold, foundation, any type of structurally unsound apparatus. Like, so I actually recently showed, and I actually can't believe, and I'm just going to go on a tirade for a second. I cannot believe this agent did not keep people from walking out on this deck. I have pictures. It was awful. I recently just showed this house, and the stairs were disconnected. Now it's a full walkout basement, probably at least 2 flights of stairs up at the deck. And it's literally disconnected from the deck and falling off the side of a cliff. And they allowed people to walk out on there and never said anything. So,
well, they probably didn't want to repair it or bring attention
any attention.
Don't let somebody go on it. Remember the time we did a CMA and you your heel went through?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was walking, actually our buyers had gone and looked at this house during the open house. They just happened to be driving by. And then I said, okay, well, if you're really interested in it, let's set up an appointment. I want to go check it out before we make an offer. We didn't even get in the house, unfortunately, before I ripped it to shreds, to the point where I was like, stand right here, look at that deck, look at how the stairs are going. We're not talking easy fixes here. And I'm not even inside the house. This is something that, this is a whole deck repair. Yep. And the way that wood is now, the way that PVC is, composite, everything.
Well, the cost of materials right now, it's real. I mean, Mark came into the office. Mark is actually upstairs right now, doing some of his plumbing stuff. And what was the first thing he said to us? PVC went up 40%.
Yeah.
Think about building a new house, and PVC is now 40% more money. And it's not going to go down ever. But for me, that question, I would say that the item that comes up that I would say surprises the seller the most is termites.
Yeah.
Because anybody who has termites, if you have termites, it's something that you always take care of. So people don't know what the warning signs of termites are, but think about some of the basements we go in. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can't see anything. So you can't see the tubes. If you went into my basement and you saw, one of those termite tubes, you would say, I think you got to call in, the Terminator guy or whatever. Terminator guy.
Terminator.
The exterminator. Yeah. I mean, we use Safety Fumigant actually out of Hingham. They were somebody that was referred to us for one of our properties. I loved them. So I got rid of the other company, which was Ehrlich. And they were, because I liked the smaller, home-based type people. And Ehrlich was, they bought out Watch All, that I loved very much. But then I went to Safety Fumigant out of Hingham, and I have to tell you, they are fabulous. And we have them here at the office as well.
Yeah. They will be coming to my house quite soon. So
yeah. And it's important. That's like the maintenance, to keep up with that maintenance stuff. So
yeah, I mean, there's obvious, when it comes to termites, there's obvious things to sort of look for, even when you're outside. I was talking to somebody, and it's like, if you have wood chips outside, or if you use mulch and all that stuff right up against the house, you're most likely going to have termites. So it's just being aware of what causes them, and maybe you can
them, so to speak.
Maybe you can replace the mulch or whatever with stone, or you can do maintenance every year in order to sort of redirect them somewhere else.
Yeah, go to our next door neighbor's house.
Go to the
not us.
neighbor's house.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I'm just like thinking of that tick that was on you. I apologize.
Oh my gosh. No, I
Well,
mean,
we went out for ice cream to just
the
sort of
most
get in a good
disastrous
mood.
ice cream trip on the face of the world.
I know.
We'll apologize to
everybody
everybody in
know.
Heidi's Hollow.
I know.
I got marshmallow all over the place. Yeah, so we got a place that's owned by two gals, and it's Heidi's Hollow, and they have the best ice cream around.
Yeah. All right, so let's sort of go moving forward. So, Sharon, you've been at the house, you sort of give a little bit of snippets, you get hired. Now we're preparing the house for, say, photo day. What is it? Do we think that, calling in somebody, to help prepare, like who could somebody be called in to help prepare a house in order to get it on the market?
Well, here's the thing. Every house is different and every situation is different. And that's why it's so important to just have us out before, or have your agent out before you're thinking. If you're starting to think about it, have us out now. There isn't that many people that are like, all right, we had a couple glasses of wine last night. We decided we're going to sell the house and we want you to have it on the market next week. Most people are sort of thinking and planning about this. So I say, if you're thinking and planning about this, then have us out now, because then we will tell you the things that you can do, and you can do slowly. So we had it this year, right? Herringbrook, for example, we met with them in August of last year.
Yeah, I think so.
And they put their house on the market in May, right? So, and then we went through the house and they asked what types of things that we thought that they should do. There was really literally nothing for them to do in this house. But I think that but what's most important is people have stuff, so much stuff. And this is a time to, purge, give it away, whatever you're going to do to narrow out the enormity of all that stuff you have. There's no better time to do it than over the winter, when you can sort of pick at it. You know what I mean? If you're in the house or.
Yeah. I saw a meme today that was like, the day before closing, or like the day before you move, is when you really realize what you want, because then you just start throwing things away that you've never used or you haven't used.
I'll buy another one. I'll buy another one. Don't have any room for
in
it.
so long. But that's another thing. Like, we have many referrals that we can give for movers, for people who
actually, somebody called me about a mover today.
Yeah. So movers or some sort of, like, you have to think of your pets too. So like doggy daycare, like, or somebody to come and walk your dog. I mean, we're available.
We're volunteering.
We're volunteering. It's us.
But we have done that. We have done that in our listings.
Gone and feed the cats or the fish or something.
Trish Flynn, one of our full-time agents, when she first started with me, she literally like cleaned out the kitty litter box on one of my listings.
Yeah. I'm a pro at that. I got it.
I can't touch it. It's not me.
It's not that bad.
But I got a girl.
Yeah, we got a girl.
She's willing to do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, even at closing day, so you have the movers, we have plenty of referrals for that. It's professional cleaning. Like, so that's something that you can do before you go on the market.
And
so
you're
prepared for showings and for your open house. Hopefully you only have one. And then definitely get your house professionally cleaned once all of your stuff is out of it. I feel like some sellers would sort of think like, all right, well, my stuff's out of it, so it's not going to be my problem come tomorrow. But a buyer can come into your house and be like, there's ketchup in the fridge. There's the microwave is disgusting. The stove is disgusting. Like there's, dust everywhere. You have to.
Do you know one of the big telltale things that I think is so funny? I don't know why I feel like this keeps on falling on me, but it's interesting. Like when you open up a freezer with the drawer on the bottom, and then it has like the rubber gasket thing that goes around to seal it. It like sort of so you can get crumbs and stuff can fall in there.
Yeah.
I always look at that when I go into houses.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like if it to me it just says it's dirty. And if you're not willing to,
the one in the house, in the garage, remember?
In the garage, I'm sure.
Yeah. If you don't clean, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like cleaning is an easier thing to do. And you don't want to give people the wrong perception is, like they can't even like clean things. Are they really taking care? Are they maintaining things? Like, what about the furnace, or what about the heating system, the boiler or whatever? So you want to make sure that they're doing that.
Yeah. So obviously we have people that we can refer, that we have referred, that will professionally clean your home.
And I love, and not to cut you off, but our agents, we're so good here at our office, all of our agents, we're so like-minded and everything. But one of Michelle Fay's clients texted me while I was on vacation last week. And she's like, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you. Michelle said that you have a great person who cleans your house. Would you mind sharing her name with me? So, I mean, we're always sharing.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. And I think, Mary, you started the whole conversation today with our listeners is you wouldn't go to a brain surgeon to take out a hangnail, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to go to someone who takes out a hangnail to do brain surgery, but you really should be hiring the person that does that. And I learned that lesson actually today, where we had some construction done in our house a couple of years ago. And I just took down, like I opened up my stairway in my house. So like we had to take down part of one of the walls to match the other side. So it's open on both sides. And I did new posts and new railings and new treads on the stairs. And now it was a carpenter who did that work for me. And to me, my eye, it looked okay. Well, then I had a floor guy in there today because I want to work on getting, all the floors, I'm going to have them all sanded so they're not orange anymore. And he's like, who did your stairs? Like, they're terrible. Terrible. And he kept on going back over to the stairs. He goes, this isn't supposed to be this way. I know, like, if you hire me, like, you're not hiring me to fix this, but I can't do everything else I am and just leave that like that. Like, I will have to fix it.
Yeah.
So he wants to put his stamp of approval on it. Thank you.
But that's pride.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very true. And I think maybe one of the biggest things with the I Got a Guy segment that we're kind of doing right now is lean into the professionals that you've hired, because I think we're a wealth of information, or we're a wealth of people who we work with in this industry. So it's very easy to kind of, lean in and say, hey, do you have this person? Do you have somebody who's going to redo the floors? Do you have an electrician? You might, if you go through home inspection, it might be your agent who's saying, you know what, I have an electrician. He's really great. These items actually aren't the serious stuff. Let's pay attention to this other stuff. And I also have a guy for that. Like, I also have somebody who can help you out. And I think one of the more important things to note is, especially from our team's perspective, is we don't actually refer anybody that we don't use ourselves
100%,
or we wouldn't have at our own homes. So I think that also goes to speak volumes in some sort.
Yeah. And with the office, we have the interoffice Facebook page that we have, and people are always in there with each other. Hey, has anybody ever worked with this person? And we're like, stay away. Or I heard this, I heard that. Here's a person I used. I had a good, opportunity, a good situation with them. I just want to just put a shout out to, it was Flex Flooring installation and refinishing. And he was great. 617-639-7633. But again, you can always call us for all these numbers. I just happened to have his number right there. So I wanted to give him a shout out, and I appreciate Long coming and seeing me today.
Eye for detail.
Eye for detail. 100%. And he came here, he's going to do a small job here. And I just have to, see where my proposal comes in and see if we can do that right now.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I don't remember what it is. And we'll move on.
But one of the things too, you said, I'm sorry. One of the things was like things that people should do. You sort of asked me sort of that question. I think our listing on Redwood Circle is a really good example, where she was going to replace all the carpets in the house. And I was like, don't bother. Because I know that somebody's going to come in here and rip them up and put hardwood in.
100%.
So don't waste, don't throw good money at something that's just going to be torn out. So I don't want people spending money needlessly. So sorry to interrupt.
And also, like, when I know at one point, we got to this position where, if buyers were doing home inspections, the whole little nitpicking wasn't going to help them, because they had other offers to sort of choose from. So if you wanted to nitpick and get, money off because of little things, sellers were just going to say no.
Well, that's why it's important to say, hey, like, I've seen this before. I know somebody who can help you out. And this, like, that's the best way that I can say, when I say safety, health, structural, the little stuff kind of falls to the side now. Like, you really don't even have a chance at negotiating on the little stuff anymore, because there are so many buyers that are out there competing. But the big stuff, And those are the items that when a buyer does have that inspection, it is cha-ching, cha-ching, like, hey, the money, maybe this is getting a little bit overwhelming. If you can put it into perspective and have somebody who can get out there really quick. So like, for a mold remediation, we had one of our listings, somebody approached us about some mold, and we had somebody out there within a day to assess it, give us a price. If
he's great.
Yeah. Jake Turner. Yep. With Pro Enviro. He came out immediately and actually moved his time for me because my dog got stung by a bee or several bees, and I had to rush him to the emergency room.
Oh, jeez.
I know, but
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But, just having people that you can rely upon in that sense to say, maybe it's not something that's going to gain them monetary money in that moment, but he dropped everything that he was doing to come out and do us a favor because he knows that we're a good source of referral for him. And
like the time we needed I wanted a dumpster, and then Matt Mahoney had one of his clients actually has dumpsters. So I called him and he was just so good. And then, so when I had that fake positive COVID result, and then we had the dumpster
false positive, not
false
fake.
Positive.
We didn't fake any positive results.
Yeah. False positive. But he had the dumpster here. I just wanted to do some cleaning. And then I called him and I was like, or I texted him. I was like, hey, you know what? I didn't really have as much here that I thought, is there any chance you can get the dumpster over to my house? And he's like, when are you thinking? And I was like, whenever you get the chance. No lie, 5 minutes. He was in my driveway. He just happened to be right up the street. So he was here and he brought it over. But
I know we weren't even done with the basement.
I know.
You're like, wait, I thought I had an hour.
We just started throwing things in there. We didn't have any time to decide whether or not we wanted to keep it. We were just like, just throw it away. Just throw it away.
Throw it in there. But I think that that's good. Like, I really, really love the people that we work with and the people that we know. And whether they're people we're hiring or they're just people that we know in the industry, like Ken McCormick is, he's the chief of Pembroke Fire Department. And we know so many other people like that, but I know he was listening and watching. But those are the people that I feel like they're in our corner, and we don't call in many favors.
Yeah.
But when we do, I think that they respect it and know that it's probably more of an emergency. But all the guys we use, they're just so good. And I really feel confident that none of them would screw any of our clients, because they know once we found that out, we would never use them again.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but I did.
It happened.
Yeah. Our clients or us over.
Yeah.
And then we stop using them and we use somebody else. But I want to touch upon landscaping and sort of like the exterior of the house, because I think that curb appeal is super important. We've talked about this many times about, people waiting outside for whether it's their private showing or for waiting in line for an open house, which I don't really see that anymore, waiting in line outside. But yeah, sorry, I got distracted. But let's move on to the exterior. But if anybody has any questions and you're listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable, 781-837-4900 is the phone number to Ben at the studio. So if you have any questions, give him a call and he will get you in touch with us and we can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, we haven't had a caller in a while. So please call. We'll give you a $25 gift card. That isn't even working anymore. We're going to have to up the ante a little bit. But, one of the other people, we had somebody when we did our show on, we did the follow-up on what should I stay or should I go now?
Yep.
And remember that person, he had, older carpets in the house. And I said, are you sure you don't have hardwood under there? And he's like, nope, I don't think so. And I was like, well, I would guess that you did. But anyways, he went and looked. Oh yeah. I think there's hardwood. I think what's behind you. So he pulled back and lo and behold, there was hardwood. So that was good. A good discovery on a CMA.
Yeah.
Always.
Whoa.
Always sorry, I yelled.
I'm very excited.
We love when people take our advice.
Yeah.
So continuing on with landscaping.
So that's irrigation. People for pool. We have a great pool referral. If you have a pool at your house, or even if you're thinking about, you're thinking about purchasing a home, you want to put in a pool. There are things, processes that you have to go through in order to know whether or not you can have a pool. So we got a guy for that as well. But let's sort of keep to maybe the exterior of the house or the exterior landscaping. What do you guys find to be sort of the most common thing to either repair, replace outside, enhance? What
I would kind of just piggyback off of what Sharon said earlier. It really is a lot of trim and siding. So and that's more of even, and this tends to be the hardest one to come by, is your kind of like handyman or like your do it all person, because you're not residing an entire house. You're not replacing all of the trim that you can go to a larger company for, and you'll probably get a better deal. But if you're doing little jobs around the house, it's not a big enough job for a big company. You need somebody who's skilled enough to know what they're doing.
Yeah. I just thought of something actually. So we had a listing and it had some mold rot up above, and I was able to get Chris McNamara out, who's a contractor, to fix that. And I just remembered that we forgot to give her a bill for that. So I have to pay Chris McNamara because I forgot to do it. Yeah. And I just thought of it. But that was something that I said, you know what, I think that this is really important for you to do.
Well, also with like wood rot and chipped paint and all that stuff, it also will help your buyer pool too. So if they're going for a loan and for their finance, and somebody's going to come out and see that, that might be something that needs to be fixed before they will give the loan to that buyer. So you could sort of eliminate the headache already, and just sort of replace that wood rot.
That was a very good point.
Thank you. We have about 5 minutes left. So I want to sort of ask you guys' opinion. Is there any other, like, I got a guy you want to touch upon, whether it's indoor, outdoor, a home inspector, HVAC company, pest control, roofer, plumber?
Yeah.
We know a plumber.
Yeah, we do know a plumber. And I think another big one is a mason, and they're always so difficult to find, and we have a really good mason. And again, I think if you're thinking about putting your house on the market, whenever it is, have us out to tell. We know better than anybody what the buyers are thinking and what they're looking at, what you need to fix and what you don't need to fix. And we probably have a guy or a gal that can help with the smaller projects or even the bigger projects. And after you buy your house, I love that our clients always call us back. Yeah. Hey, do you have such and such? I need this. I need that. Of course, I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Even agents. I mean, agents are calling, they're texting, calling, emailing, every day asking, oh, who do you use for photography? Who do you use for this? What's a Title V inspector? All that stuff. So, we certainly like to share the knowledge, share the wealth, obviously with our clients.
Yeah. Because good people, it's, unfortunately in situations where, markets get very busy, people come out of the woodwork that take advantage of other people, with pricing and with workmanship. So we never want that to happen to anyone.
I was just going to say, with the way that materials and demand for contractors has gone up, just the amount that people are being charged right now, I think it helps to have somebody point you in a direction where you're not going to be taken advantage of or swindled. And
one of the other things too that I want to bring up, because I hear of this a lot, is I hear it from Mark a lot and from other people of, the easy accessibility that we have to the internet and to find things, or that you can get things cheaper. And one of the things, like, I'll just use Mark as an example. No specific, I'm not thinking of anyone specific or of any of his clients. He doesn't share those stories with me, but, somebody who's going to be replacing, let's just say, all the bathroom faucets. Then they're like, well, I can go online and I can get them this way. I can get them cheaper. I can, whatever. Then they order them, they get to the house and parts are broken. Okay, well, now you're going to have to replace it. Parts are cheap. Well, we still want you to put it in. Then it breaks in 3 months. And it's like, I told you that it was cheap. So you get what you pay for. Yeah. And keep in mind, when you're working with contractors, whether it's a plumber, an electrician, whoever it is, and you're buying these items through them, whatever the fixtures are, they're sort of warrantying them in a way. Yeah. They're delivering them to your house. They're putting them in. They know what it is. It's their responsibility. If it breaks in 3 months, they're going to come back and fix it without a fee. They're going to get to the bottom of it. You're not going to save any money by doing it the cheap route. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah. I agree.
Don't go cheap.
Don't go cheap.
No, because it's just going to break.
Hire a professional.
Yes.
And we'll end on hire us. Yeah. So I just obviously ask us. We're professionals. Ask the people around you who they use.
Trust.
Who you trust. I think I had said it a couple of shows ago that people nowadays, they'll go online and they'll read a million reviews before they'd make a decision on something. So
you can call us. We'll just give you feedback.
And if you're part of the Connect pages on Facebook, you can always ask a question in there, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of people's opinions.
I do that all the time. I need somebody. I needed somebody recently, and I got a bunch of people who I needed somebody for the sprinklers to do the irrigation. I was like, I just want someone that will call me back. So I got a guy for that. His name is Kaz. He's awesome. So he came out. My system's already in. But can you let people know real quick how they can find past shows and all that good stuff on social media?
You can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com and listen to any of our past shows that you've missed, or you want to listen to it again because we're so awesome. You can go to bostonconnect.com, find all of our contact information there. Like us on Facebook, McNamara Broker Team. Follow us on Instagram, McNamara Broker Team, Boston Connect Real Estate.
Yay. Have a good week, everybody. Bye. Bye, Benjamin.
Bye, ladies.
President Biden says,
Woo, at the buzzer.
threatened democracy.
We did it, though.
You did it. That was amazing.